Hi, everybody. It's Carla Lepke again from Your Body, Your Way Personal Training. And I am here with one of my clients who's also named Carla. She's Carla with a C, and I'm Carla with a K. Carla found me in 2017 and actually trained with me in the start with my personal training studio. And she watched me grow within that and then seen me make one of the hardest decisions ever to close those doors, but to maintain my personal training and keep going from there. So I thought, and Carla's had some amazing success. So I would love to share with you Carla's success that we have had. So Carla, welcome. Thank you so much for being a part of this with me. I really appreciate it. And I'd love for you to start out by telling people where you were before you found me and what made you kind of seek out a trainer.
Well, about 3 years ago, I was in a really serious car accident, and I had a lot of injuries, including a broken pelvis and a broken elbow, and my foot and heel were broken, and so I had lots of surgeries and pins and screws put in, and spent several months in the hospital. And then when I got out of the hospital, I did a lot of physio and started gradually gaining my strength back. And I wanted to get back into shape again because I'd been in pretty decent shape before the accident. And so I slowly started doing a little bit of cardio on the recumbent bike and just some other things at the physio office when I went. And then a friend of mine suggested that I go talk to you at Your Body, Your Way. And so I was kind of like, oh, I don't know if I need that. But then I realized I don't know how to work out anymore because my body isn't the same as it was before. And I need someone to help show me how I can modify exercises to that my body is capable of right now. So that's what brought me to the doors of Your Body, Your Way.
Okay, awesome. So it's always nerve-wracking walking to a gym or taking on a personal trainer at the start. So what kind of things were you possibly skeptical of or that made you kind of fear taking that action?
I think there was a couple of things. One of them was like I'd seen the studio there so many times, but I always just assumed that it was for people who were really fit or who were like at the top of their game and had no issues and they were just like going there to work out. I had no idea what actually went on inside the studio. So that was one of my assumptions that was wrong. And before the accident, I was doing pretty good on my own with exercising, working out, but the food part of health and nutrition had always been a struggle for me. And so I thought I could use a little bit of help in that way. But at the same time, I was terrified about talking about those issues with somebody, with a stranger that I didn't know. That part felt just very like embarrassing for me. And it was just something that I didn't want to talk about with just anybody. The other thing that held me back was cost. It's a huge investment, and I wasn't sure that spending that kind of money would be worth it. So yeah, those are some of the things that held me back or stopped me from doing it for a long time.
Absolutely. And those are a lot of fears for a lot of people, just assuming, I always hear that I got to get fit before I go to the gym, right? I got to get fit before I take on a trainer. And then the fear of the cost and knowing and not knowing what the cost is or being that the cost might be too much for them, right? So during the time that we've been training, what are some of your big breakthroughs that you've had or some aha moments?
I think one of the biggest ones came for me about a year ago. I did the 21-day challenge that you're running right now.
Mhm.
And that's kind of when things really clicked for me. I really put in the work at that point, did all the homework and answered all the questions, thought about my why. Why am I doing this? What are the things that are holding me back? What am I scared of? Um, and so I realized I wanted to be healthy and active when I'm older. That's one of my main goals. And that kind of is spurring me on to be active now, because if I'm not now, I'm not going to be later on. So the only way I'm going to be able to travel and be active with my grandkids someday is if I get my act together now and do this and get healthy right now.
So what kind of specific results have you seen?
I started running again. It's slow, but I can run. after my surgeries, my surgeon thought that I wouldn't ever run again, just because of my limited mobility in my foot and just the pain involved that used to be there when I would push off with that foot. So I can now jog and I can do small box jumps, which is so incredible to me. And the other thing is I just feel really, really strong. I love doing the heavy bicep curls and deadlifts and chest press. That feels so good to me. It's very empowering to use the big black weights and just feel really strong doing those exercises.
Yeah,
And
you've never shied away from pushing yourself, that's for sure. So I've always enjoyed that about training with you.
yeah, I love it. Yeah. And I think the other part is regarding nutrition, I feel like I have a better understanding of what my body needs for fuel to be at an optimal level. And um, I'm able to have fewer cravings and delay indulging myself in those cravings. I don't feel them quite so bad, and I'm able to think more about my why and all of that thought process, that work that I put in to help me not just eat whatever's in front of me that I want at that moment, because I can think about my goals, and then if I do make a mistake and indulge in something, I've learned from you that I can just like make sure I enjoy that treat or that whatever, and then just get right on back on track and make the next right decision to get me back towards my goals.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, I think you've had a lot of great success. I remember when you first came in to the studio and just some of the balance moves and some of the positions that we had to do. And I mean, the amount of surmounted pass that you've made out of that. You have so much more amazing balance, a lot more movement and mobility in a lot more areas in your body than you've ever had before, which we never thought you would get, right? So I think that's been amazing on my part to watch. And I remember the one day that I gave you sprints as a homework and you never thought you could. And sure enough, you were sprinting up your driveway. So I thought that was awesome.
Yeah. Like my surgeon told me that around the 2-year mark, like he said, that's about as good as you're going to get. But I feel like since then, I've made still like tremendous gains from the 2-year mark to now through the 3.5-year mark. So that's encouraging.
Yeah, I think you have as well too. Well, Carla, who would you recommend training with me? And would you say that the type of training that I do is sustainable training? And what type of people would it be for?
I think really anyone would benefit from training with you, but I think especially people who are just starting out or people who have tried and tried and tried on their own and failed and just like can't do it on their own. I think you have a good understanding of what it's like. You've been there, you've done that before, and you understand the struggles that ordinary people go through. So that's really encouraging. And you are a great support and encourager. You have so many suggestions for every excuse that is thrown at you. You're like, well, you could try this or try that, or have you thought about it this way? Or so that's really nice to hear. And I love that I have someone to be accountable to. Um, just doing it on my own wasn't working clearly, so it's nice to have another person to ask me how things are going, or yeah, just keep me on track. And in terms of cost, I think that the cost, the benefits far outweigh the costs that are incurred. So if somebody is hesitant to try it because of the cost, I'd say it's far more beneficial to put in the money, put in the work, than sit there complaining that you can't do it. You can't lose the weight. You can't get strong. So I say anyone should go ahead, make the call, and get your butt in the gym.
Well, thank you so much, Carla. I really, truly enjoy training with you. You're an inspiration. You're a motivation to so many of our clients that we had at the studio and the ones that I train now at the rec center. And I know that you have been a great support to a lot of them. So I love seeing you grow. I love seeing you strive for the next level of what you're trying to do. And I thank you so much for taking the time to do this testimonial with me, and I appreciate it so much. If you're interested in having a chat with me, I will put the link in the comments below. I'd love to chat with you about where you are with your health and fitness goals. That's all it takes is a conversation. It may or may not fit for you or for me, and that's just what we can see what we can do. So would love to talk to you, and hopefully what Carla's story has resonated with so many of you. So thank you so much for watching.